The best advice for people who are feeling lost in life. Are you feeling lost? Well, you came across the right video. Stick to the end, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to have more clarity in your life, find a direction and a path that you're meant to go on. And ultimately, by the end of this video, you'll gain more power, control, and clarity over your life and exactly how to get to your goals, dreams, and desires. So, are you feeling lost? This is like a pretty common thing. You know, we all feel lost from time to time. I know I've had my stints in life where I've been lost for years. It feels like years I've been lost and not knowing where I've been going and just drifting from thing to thing. And I 100% understand that feeling. I know exactly what it feels like to be in that space. And it's almost like perpetuating doom, right? Like, you just get more lost and you just are going with the flow and you're getting to the next thing and then the next thing. And before you know it, you're just like, have moseyed your way through life and you don't have anything to show for it. So first thing, everybody probably tells you this, right? Is like, you need to gain clarity. Like, you need to be clear on what you want. And to an extent, it's like, it is totally true. But, like myself, it's like, oh, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a business owner. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be a great dad. I want to be a good family man. So like, there's all these things that I desire. Like, how do I pick one and which one is the most important to focus on? So I know what you're thinking, right? It's like, well, everybody says that. How do I actually do it? Like, how do I actually get beyond it? And so again, this might sound like a cliche, but really truly works for me is finding quiet time. Right? When I feel like I just had no idea what's going on, I feel like that's my indicator to like meditate, to just like take some, if you don't meditate or whatever, just like take some time, go on a nature walk by yourself, like spend some time outside by yourself, breathe, do breath work, Tai Chi, whatever it is that feels ultimately connects you to source energy or connects you to yourself or connects you to your roots so that you can know like what to do, So that quiet space is where I start. So when you're in that space, a lot of thoughts, come by and ideas, and maybe you entertain some ideas, or once you get like through that, and it might not be the first time, you might have to go out like a couple of times and do that. And I feel like always catch it. Like, don't like force yourself into a direction that you don't want to go in, or you think that it's the most lucrative or the best, and you like force yourself into this thing, and it just for the pressure of like feeling like you need to do something. I say when you catch the real insight, like the real inspiration, you kind of know and you feel really excited about it. You're just like stoked. And once you catch that, like for me, once I figure out what it is that I'm most excited about, that's when it starts to become fun to me, right? Like that's when I start to think about it all the time. Like in the subconscious time, like right before I wake up, and then the subconscious time right before bed, I'm like thinking about it, like the ideas, how it could work, what I would do, what type of person I would need to become. All these thoughts like start to flood in. And once I'm like super excited about it, a good example is the studio that I'm in. I'm in the Pod Play studio, and that was something that I just got clear on, and then I became obsessive about it, and then I created it within like a month. So every day I was thinking like, okay, what's the next step in the studio? What is the next thing I have to do? And it was like, it started with like signing the lease, getting the keys, like little things, right? And it's consuming my mind. Like, okay, I have to do this in my day, and then I have to do that, and then I have to go sign these contracts, and I have to make the deposit, whatever, all of the things I'm taking action on in my day. So then I'm thinking about it, right? And then it's like, okay, I need to start designing the place. I need furniture. I need lights. Like, what do I need to get? And I start doing the Amazon orders. Like, this is how it was happening for me, right? Like these little ideas that you begin to think about, and maybe you're not in a position where you could take action on every single whim, like how I've been able to create the freedom to do so. But once you start thinking of it consistently and you plant the seed, whatever your dream or desire is, we all have different desires. There's no right or wrong thing. Like it starts to unfold in the sense that you have to continue to think about it. If you have a true burning desire for it, you will think about it over and over and over again. You will think about it often. So if you just have like kind of want something like, oh, I just kind of want a Benz or whatever, you kind of have that idea and it's short-lived and you don't think about it very long and then it doesn't happen, right? You're like, yeah, this is law of attraction or whatever, this crap, it doesn't work. But you need to be thinking about it, like really burning desire, like this is what you want, like this is what you're going to do. Or, once you find that clear, that burning desire, that thing that you're super excited about, and you're hyper thinking about it, the next step is you start to take belief, right? Like you believe, like for me in the studio, like I believe the studio is going to work. So I start taking inspired action. Like I'm buying the things on Amazon, like spending thousands of dollars on equipment, on stuff, this and that, right? To like make it happen. So I'm taking inspired action. And once you get to the inspired action stage, for me, it's like a loop, right? I'm thinking about it all the time, all the systems, all the ideas, all the things I need to do. Then I start taking inspired action. I'm buying the furniture. I'm buying these mics, these SMBs. I'm buying like all the stuff, right? Cameras, lenses, lights, all the crap, right? They're big investments. Like I spent $10,000 and it's not like it's working, but I have to act out of faith, right? People don't take inspired action because of fear. You have a fear that it might not work or that you might fail or whatever. So people that get stuck there, they don't take inspired action. But then, for me, right, I move into inspired action. I start taking action. I'm thinking about all these things. My belief is getting higher that, like, for example, if we're using the studio, that it's going to work because I'm taking inspired action. I'm getting closer to the steps. And then I start gassing myself up. Like, this is a great example. When I was single, I've been married now for 3 or 4 years, 3 years going on 4. And I've been with my wife for 6 years, going on 7. It was just our anniversary, like in October, the beginning of October. Our first time we met anniversary. And then our marriage anniversary is the beginning of September. Anyway, side note, but whatever. Once, back in the day when I was young and still in the dating scene, I would think that like girls would be into me. I don't know. I just like thought that they were. I would tell myself, dude, like all the time, like, oh, she said hello to me. Oh, this girl's she's totally digging me, dude. Otherwise, why would she say hello? Like, and that's how I freaking look at my business. It's like, oh, dude, this is totally working. Otherwise, why would people like the videos? Why would people comment? Like, this is going to be a smashing success, right? And I'm telling myself these thoughts over and over while I'm thinking about the systems, while I'm thinking about the operations, while I'm thinking about who I need to hire, what I need to get. Everything, right? Like everything is coming into play. And now it becomes like a snowball. Like you're snowballing your creation, your desire. And then before you know it, like it's not like I get clear on a direction like that I'm doing. What I do is I get really inspired. Like once I'm excited, right? I just start taking action in that. And then it becomes that like once I look back, I was like, oh, I picked a direction and I went that way. And so when you're feeling lost, you're like, you don't know which direction to go in, right? And so that's why I go back to like being excited. What do you get like super excited about? Like if it's for you, if it's starting a podcast or like starting to build your personal brand or building a business or even as simple as like a hobby. Like, dude, we live in a world where like you can make money off basically any hobby. Like, if it's RC cars, whatever it is that you're excited about, most of the time, just like lean into that. Like you can create opportunity from anything in today's day and age based off the internet. So when you're feeling lost, like I said, just meditate, right? Like get clear away like all the distractions. Get clear, like empty out everything. And once you're in a space where you're able to like kind of think clearly and be empty in space, like figure out what makes you excited. What are you super excited about? And once you're clear on the excitement part, allow it to consume you. Like that's what I do, right? Like I become obsessive. And once you allow it to consume your ideas, what you're thinking about it all the time. And then comes the direction. And then it's almost like a gradient, right? Like you don't realize that you're not lost. You don't realize that you're like kind of fulfilling your purpose or going in that direction until you look back and you're like, oh, yeah, I did decide to go in this direction. I didn't even realize it. You start with meditation, emptying out the platter. Then focus on what you're excited about. Then inspired action. And then, like, basically it's creation. Like, then the creation happens. And then once you've, like, created your desired outcome, you just do it again. And I know, like, when I've been lost a lot of my life, right? Like, I didn't start to figure these type of things out till I'm 34, so later in my life. So if you're young, dude, like, I feel like I'm still young, but if you're really young and you don't know what to do, like, just do everything. Like, fail as often as possible. And, like, every failure will lead you to learn something about the universe, and you can learn a truth, and then you can move forward. I think Winston Churchill says, like, if you aren't brave enough to fail, then you'll be amongst the I forget what he calls it. He has a term, like, amongst the zombies or something that have no idea what it's like to fail or to win. So you have to fail. You have to take that risk in your dreams and desires and see what happens from it. So, like, going back to, like, if you're just feeling lost, right, and you have no direction, I'm going to share a story. I'll be pretty vulnerable with you guys on what happened to me, right? Like, my very first business. So I grew up, rough childhood, negative environment, whatever. In my early 20s, when I was 23, I decided to start my first business. It was a mechanic shop with my dad. My dad at the time, I mean, I don't know if he's still fully healed, but was suffering with addiction, went through a bunch of stuff, right? And he was a mechanic, and he was the base, like, of the whole business. He was the labor aspect of it. So, we went into business. It didn't work out. I completely failed, and I was kind of humiliated. I lost all the material stuff that I had. My dog died. My girlfriend left me. I was in a really low place, and somehow I was back in my parents' house, like my mom, my stepdad's house, looking at the ceiling, and I realized, like, what am I doing here? Like, something, like, I must have, like, fucked up, because if I didn't, then I wouldn't be sitting here, like, staring at the ceiling, right? Like, it would have worked out. So I realized, like, dude, I must have messed something up. And the first thing that once I, like, understood that, I was like, all right, all I want to do from now on is just be happy. Like, I'm just going to be happy. I'm going to take all my time and focus on being happy and filling up my energy. So I started taking up meditation. I started doing Tai Chi. I started, just going out to the park, skateboarding. And that's where I really got clear on, like, at the time I was doing music. So I was like, dude, I'm just going to keep doing music. I'll do that. And that's, like, how I developed my content skills. So everything is in alignment with, like, your ultimate purpose, right? Like, at the time I didn't know that that's what I was doing. I was getting good at my content skills. I was just failing forward on the internet, making music, making records, making visual projects, to ultimately led me to where I'm at now. I'm 34, so that's like 10 years later, having a media company, producing podcasts for people, doing everything that I'm doing. So, like, it started with that first, like, era of just wiping the slate, just, like, releasing everything, letting go of your constructs of your current reality. Like, meditate, strip it away, and it could take time. Just open up your consciousness to what could be. From there, you're able to then figure out what excites you the most, and then switch to inspired action, which then creates desired outcome. So, major takeaways from this video. 1, clear your conscious, right? Meditate, get open, release what you're holding on to. Once you've done that, and it might take time, it might take 5 times, you might do it on the first time, it might take a week, it might take months, it might take a year. Once you've completely cleared that, then look for what is the most exciting for you. Step 2, what is the most exciting for you? Once you've decided what you're the most excited about and what you can commit your time to and your thoughts and your mind to, then step 3, inspired action. Once you start taking inspired action, by this time you're no longer lost. You know you're headed in this direction. And step 4, your desired outcome will be created. Now, disclaimer, you will fail. You will fail. That's the way to success, is you have to learn the skills and overcome the hurdles in the universe or just in time and space to get your desired outcome. So if you persist and you keep moving through those objections or those temporary defeats, those are just building blocks, learning blocks to get to the desired outcome. Now, you keep moving through those without any loss of enthusiasm, you will create your desired outcome. And that's how you gain control over your life. So we've all been lost, and we all get lost again after you've been found. Just keep on doing the best you can. You are whole. You are complete. Everything that you need for success is already inside of you. You are loved. You are whole. You are connected. And you will gain clarity and find your way. My name's Oscar. Subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.